Andrea, we are on our third Jewel Fixer-Upper Mysteries, the last of the trilogy, and we are going to find out, did Jewel improve over these three, or has she stayed static and just been okay? Are you ready to talk about it?
I'm ready.
Then let's roll. This is Eric.
This is Andrea.
And this is Hallmark Mysteries
and more.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark channel.
So, Andrea, my tea today I'm drinking is a triple mint.
Ooh.
That is a probiotic tea meant to help my whole
gut health
and all that sort of stuff, but it's quite delicious. But usually I just drink like tea that I like, chamomile or my hot spice black tea, whatever, just because I like it. But I'm drinking healthy tea now. See what you have on me? I don't have any beets yet, which, by the way, oh my gosh, like everyone came down on the side of you and beets. They're like, forget the movie. We don't care about the movie. We want to talk beet health. And
see,
I love beets here. I love beets there. So.
You are out in your own little island there.
I guess. I guess I forgot about it. Like, do you actually get it in the produce?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, or I'm assuming.
Yes, it's produce.
Or like they only sold in cans. I don't know.
No, no can. Don't get canned beets.
I don't know.
You want the fresh stuff. My grandma, who is going to be 99 in about a month, she loves the tops of beets. And so take it from her. That's what she ate a ton of, is she preferred when my mom would grow them. She wanted the tops. So my mom would cut off the leafy greens and she would saute those. So they're very healthy for you too. The whole beet.
Farm life.
I know. Look at that.
This will sound really stupid. I'm trying to think of what a beet actually even looks like in its raw form.
They're purple and brownish skin.
I know
Usually
the color.
You have to peel them, but they have the big tall leaves coming off the top.
Okay.
They're grown underground.
Yeah.
I usually can grow them. I usually grow them in my garden.
Are they like potato-ish texture or more tomato?
No, neither of those.
Yeah.
More think like carrot.
Carrot.
Kind of like that kind of grainy-ish.
Okay. All right. For you, I already did my grocery shopping for this week. I will put it on the list. I will get beets and I will do some recipe, probably a salad or something like that, that includes beets.
You could also roast them. That might be a good intro. They are an acquired taste. So
I prefer just to roast you.
That's good.
With that, shall we discuss the movie?
Yeah, I figured we should send out some thoughts to Lindy Greenwood, who was in Crime Time. And so she just shared that she was battling breast cancer. And so definitely our thoughts go out to her, because I that was a great series. I enjoyed, I think, more than you, but
I loved it.
Continuing her healing journey. So I figured that we should share some of our thoughts with her.
Breast cancer is one of the ones that's unfortunately near and dear to me. That's what took my mom. So it's a tough battle. Fortunately, it's also one of the, with early detection and things like that, tends to be one of the more curable. So let's cross the fingers and send all those good thoughts and energy towards her, that she does kick its butt.
And thoughts to Brennan Elliott, as his wife did pass, unfortunately, from cancer. So I saw that over the weekend too. So it's kind of a health hitting news this past probably a couple weeks for Hallmark. And I know
that was a tough battle, because I think, if I'm memory serves right, like she had seemed like she had turned the corner, was getting good, and then all came back, and obviously it's a shame. That is just a shame.
Yeah. Well, now coming on to something else that maybe will cheer us up or take us back down. We'll find out. Fixer Upper, Deadly Deed. Shannon Hughes has taken on a charity project renovating an old Victorian mansion. When a local banker is found murdered inside, Shannon must dust off the clues and cement the truth before her renovation becomes a demolition. This originally aired March 2018. Well, 2 out of 5 for me. This is my least favorite. Super slow, the random niece being thrown into the town. I feel like they do this in the mysteries when they don't have anything else to do. Let's just bring in a random character, throw her in.
Well, I will say, I think at the time they didn't know it was going to be at the end. I think it was sort of adding another character, but
well, we'll talk about that because that was also part
We'll
of
see.
mine. Is I don't think they ever expanded this universe outside of the leads enough, and so this movie felt really boring having watched them all kind of back to back because we didn't get any
you
more
watched
background
Deadly
stories.
Deeds, right?
Watched it twice, and I
And they
did not
didn't
enjoy it.
they did not expand.
No.
Okay.
I mean, not anything more. I want more of like the best friend and more from the police people. We didn't really get much. You know, we got a very too involved with the actual renovation. I don't care. The bank stuff. I don't care. We didn't have any fun shenanigans happening. Like at least the one before, we had some school stuff. We had some run around. Let's have an adventure. This one, we didn't really have that. And so for me, it really fell flat. Um, didn't like it. And I also don't know why they cast Patrice and Whitney. I had such a tough time keeping those two straight. They looked
Yeah.
so similar. Like I watched it the first time and I'm like, wait, who is who? Then the second time I'm still watching it like, who's who? You know, why would they do that? Like when they had them on screen together too, I'm like, they literally look like the same person. Why would you do this? How are we supposed to keep this straight? And of course, we don't know enough about the background, which we'll talk about in the mystery, to really get, I personally, to get invested into the actual mystery. So not a big fan. And I do have thoughts, which I think we'll share maybe at the very end, our overall thoughts on Fixer Upper. And we can kind of see, did it live up to what we remember, or maybe it fell a little flat. So what did you think of this one? Clearly you liked it more than me.
I did. I gave it 3.5. I
Not
thought
that
it
much
was
more.
I thought it was pretty good. I I liked how they were giving like some little backstories there. I liked the whole premise of the renovation and sort of some bank fraud in there and those aspects. One of the things though I'll say, which I don't know if you noticed this, but the music at it the music was significantly louder than the dialogue. So I would have it up and
Wait, what
regular
did you watch it on? What
the
device?
app.
But like on your TV, iPad,
Oh,
computer?
let's see. I started on the iPad, finished on the TV.
Was it both? I only watched iPad and I didn't notice any of that.
It was TV because that's where obviously if I have headphones on when I do the iPad, it wasn't where I
Okay.
adjusted. But when the music was on my TV, I had to go down to like 4 volume, and then as soon as they started talking, you couldn't hear them, so I had to go back up to like 10, and then when the music would come on, back down to 4 because otherwise the whole house shook from the music. So it was one of those weird things. So maybe you know what? It just gets back to Plus and their technology, right?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't know technology enough. We can hit up the Hallmark Cafe because they're audiophiles and they're the ones who were the ones who revealed it wasn't in stereo and those things. So I'm gonna ask them to watch it and see what they have to say because they'll know. But
Yeah. And watch the difference between iPad versus TV because
yeah.
I didn't notice that on the iPad at all. But
And I probably
don't know.
watch 90% of them on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really notice it probably if it is a ongoing issue.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'll say is kudos to Jewel and Hughes Construction for getting 17,000 people showing up to volunteer to fix this house. My neighbor asked me, like, they just were moving out. It's like, hey, can you help me carry the couch? I'm like, no, man, you're on your own, right? Much less
Eric,
I helped. I'm
jeez.
teasing. I'm just saying he did not have.
Wait, no, really? Did you help your neighbor? Now I'm invested.
Well, it was just a minor thing, yes.
Okay, great.
But it
You
wasn't
really told
like
him no.
it wasn't. But my point was, I don't think we would get the entire neighborhood over here helping them clean up something. So I just found it kind of funny how it was so many people doing that. I said and we talked about it, and you may have some thoughts later. But the introduction of Mac's niece, who was the daughter in Darrow and Darrow, who
Oh,
that
yeah.
was Lou, I think her name was. And that was for me, and I know we haven't talked about it, and I don't think you really like the series that much, but I did. But she was so annoying in that series. Whereas I found her actually, she was quirky, a little bit weird, but she was fine in this. So I actually enjoyed her probably more only
But
because
she added anything.
I was comparing her to, well, here's what she added. She was the like the sort of thing who popped in to sort of say, come on, guys, you like each other, obviously, right? She was sort of that little wedge, which I think, once again, we'll get to a little later. If there was more or whatever, she could have been that little sort of outside force who pushed things through. But there's that. I did like have my note in there. While I did like some of the arcs for the characters, I also thought it little dragged at times. So it was not, yes, it was not a high paced one. And as you mentioned it too, I didn't really, for me watching it, I enjoyed it, but after you mentioned it, it was kind of like, hey, where were some of the shenanigans
No, there was none.
that we liked, right? You know, where was some of that the conflict and the things, and it was sort of there, but not really. Like when they get locked in the room, it's sort of just ho hum. I'm taking off the door things, right? It could have been a little panicky or something like that, probably in that mode, and then figuring out like, oh wait, I can do this. So, like I said, I enjoyed it, but we'll get into when we do the overall what our thoughts are when we refresh, because we both had very positive thoughts about this series when we decided we were going to review it. So, and I think maybe we had little adjustments.
Well, Mystery Minute then. Again, as I said, I don't know why. The casting with the Patrice and Whitney just was a head scratcher. The actual mystery itself, like this is peak Hallmark who done it, when we would have no idea who did it or the reason why, because they didn't tell us any of that backstory. This is like peak Hallmark doing this to us. That ending scene with them chasing each other up the stairs, I love how that they stop, they stare at each other, and then they keep running. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. And then she's running up the stairs in those little heels, which did not match that outfit. Like you wouldn't wear heels with what she was wearing. Like that's what I kept, because every time like I watched it, I was like, why does she look so weird? I'm like, it's because she's wearing heels with that outfit. It just doesn't go. You don't need to wear heels with the outfit she had on. And I don't notice that type of stuff, but I'm just like, this looks
I did
weird.
not notice. So
Yeah, it did not. It doesn't go together.
Patrice have the heels, or did Jewel have the heels?
Patrice. No,
Okay.
Jewel did not. And so I'm like, why would you? But again, why would Jewel wear half of the clothes that she does when she's doing construction? Those are not
Because
construction
she
clothes.
looked fantastic.
So yeah, that's also, they took some risks, I guess, that I don't know if risk would be the right choice, but they, they tried to embellish maybe what they would wear. So I don't know. For me, it didn't really work. Didn't really care about the mystery. I literally, by the end, I didn't care. I was just hoping that they would tell us who did it so I could be done with the movie. That's where I fell.
Did you remember the mystery,
I had no idea. This is the one I think I only watched once.
Okay.
And so now watching it twice in the last week, I have watched it more than I ever care to ever again. Now I'm also like, I told Eric before, I was like, our family is like sick this weekend. And so I'm like, maybe it's like the sickness vibes. I'm just like, no, cannot deal with this. I don't know. What about you?
I actually think this is the one that I've seen the most of them. And I actually did not remember. When it started, and like when I hit play to start it, I'm like, okay, it's Drummond. I know it's Drummond, and he's doing the little bank fraud where he was overvaluing and making his money there. I like totally the whole time was just smugly watching it, thinking it's him, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, I got it wrong, and I don't know if maybe because I was so convinced that it was him, I wasn't paying attention to be like there. But I also, like you said, Patrice had such a minor role. She's like one of those ones who is on screen for like 3 minutes and then is gone.
Supposed to know her whole backstory.
And you get her a little bit of her the backstory when she's on the ledge, but that's it.
Yeah, but that's after we've solved the mystery.
Right. So what I said about it, well, first of all, like you're talking about them running on the stairs and the heels and stuff. What I found silly was when she sees them at the bank, when they first confront, and like, oh no, you've caught me. I'm going to run away. She runs away and goes straight to the bank. Like, how easy is it to go catch you? Like, he seems like you would go hide or go do something rather than run right to where Jewel knows, you're going. So, and then seems surprised to see, oh wow, Jewel
They
followed
caught me.
me. That's crazy. So I will say, I thought that was like just a thing where they're like, all right, let's just wrap this movie up. Right. And the way I put this is when is it? This is like 2017, right? 2000.
Yeah, 2018 it aired. Yeah.
It just seems like and you mentioned this, a good, solid, cozy mystery. We know what we're getting.
Yeah.
Where it's going to deliver just that. You're going to get a couple characters with some chemistry, and that you generally like the leads, and just some other stuff thrown in, but it's not one of the, it's not a mistletoe murder where you really are like, wow, this is great writing, this is great production, this is really well thought out. It's just, I just found it watchable, not appointment watchable, but watchable.
Where does this fall then in your of the three movies? Is this your least favorite?
No, no.
The second one is?
I think it went. I think no. I think I have
Because
to
you
look
liked the
back.
first one. I liked the second one. You liked the first one.
I think I was having them backwards. I liked the second one and not the first, and then the third. But I
No,
don't
when
know.
we just recorded, you liked the
Okay.
first one.
Well, see, there you go. Remember, you're remembering more
So
than me.
this
I've
would
got.
be your least favorite, Eric. This would be your least favorite.
Nah, I think
Oh,
it's in the middle. They're all kind of. All right.
they're all the
We'll
same
save it for
too.
when we review the series.
Okay. Romance roundup. So for me, again, like finding out that Mac was engaged, I'm like, of course he was engaged. Like, that's what they do in these mysteries in 2018 era. Let's throw in one little
Yes,
wrench into everything.
he
And
didn't have a
like,
dead spouse.
I mean, it didn't, it was fine. Like, I was just like, of course they threw that in there. So for me, the romance, it's still staying lukewarm. It's fine. I wouldn't care either way to see them end up together or not. Like, I wasn't as invested. Like, I feel like they spent the least amount of time with each other in this movie. And I just didn't feel like they built up anything besides having the niece come in.
I thought it progressed, but we obviously didn't get any payoff.
No.
It need, once again, is it because they didn't know? But it sort of just left you there with, okay, there's clearly the two are interested in each other. That's established, but that's all we established. So I think I think they have good chemistry together. I liked them together and they interacted well, but I thought that right from the very get go, like they just came in, and as soon as they had that little like confrontation, they just went on and said, hey, we're best buds from that point on. And then, a little bit of that romance tension, but not enough. I thought the flirtation of Jennifer and Sean was like the actual relationship here, but kind of like you said, they didn't really go anywhere with it other than, oh, we want to go out. Oh, you like me, whatever. And it seems like they're like everyone in what's it, Lighthouse Cove, I think, where this I'll take right. I think they've all known each other since they were kindergartners. So now they're all of a sudden like googly eyes. But I thought, that was good. But I also like Jennifer. I thought she was a fun, good BFF who could have been a little more.
Yeah.
But
Well, character corner, I really struggled. I was going to write none, but I was like, I guess I better find someone. So I picked Tommy, the cop. To me, he felt toned down in this movie. He felt more competent. So for me, that's the
I
only
think he
reason I
went through the
picked him.
academy with Mason.
Yeah, he seemed more fleshed out. So that's the only reason I picked him, is because I had to pick someone, and nobody gave me Stano vibes in this movie.
You mentioned it earlier, and I didn't really think about it, but it's right. They should have had the detective have a bigger role, whether it be as a, Grassdale Mysteries where Linwood is sort of
Yeah.
helpful, or a more adversarial Lynn Smith, who's you're in the way, right? Just have them be more something than pop in for a scene,
Especially because
half a
neither
scene
one of
here.
them are cop or detectives or,
Right.
like they're a
Yeah, yeah.
writer
They
and
should
they're
have
a
had him.
construction person.
And then I think most people, well, I don't know, you gave Tommy your character card, but I think most people probably would not be complaining to see Colin Lawrence on screen a little more.
I mean, I picked him in the first movie, so
Right.
I can't pick him
I
again.
mean, he's
Is that
not,
your character?
no, he's not the
Oh,
ugliest guy on the planet. Mike, you know who mine has to be. Good old dead Charles Porter, played by none other than Gerard Pickett, or
you
Plunkett.
picked
Excuse
the
me,
dead
Plunkett.
guy.
Well,
That's funny.
he's Professor Fowler from Garage Sale that we talked about. He
That's
was
really
Raymond
funny.
in Gourmet Detective. We keep seeing him pop up.
That's really
He's
funny.
just keep going. And yeah, he was the dead guy. He was a pretty good bad guy, though. I mean, he had
Oh
no
yeah.
heart and stuff. But you know what? Anytime I get a little Gerard from now on,
Isn't he the mayor in Hannah
thumbs
Swenson
up.
too in Murder She Baked? I think he is
Uh,
in Murder She Baked.
probably.
Yeah. That's funny.
Probably. I'll be honest, I'm not going through his IMDb and,
I
you
think he
know,
is.
whatever, bookmarking all his movies to put him on my playlist. But
Oh.
whenever I see him, Gerard, count me a fan.
Well, Hallmark trivia, I do have some Colin Ferguson trivia. He was the founding member of a Detroit's Second City comedy troupe and performed with Montreal's on the spot improv group, showcasing his strong roots in improvising comedy, which I was like,
Wait,
Colin?
who is that? Colin
Colin
Ferguson?
Ferguson. That's what I thought. I was like, this is shocking.
Is
So
he
the
from
Maytag
Detroit?
Man. Well, apparently. I don't know if he's from Detroit, but he was part of this
Right.
improv group, a comedy improv group. I thought that was kind of shocking because he doesn't strike me as a comedic actor, but clearly he has some chops. So
He's in Virgin River too, right?
no, Colin Lawrence is. Colin Ferguson
Oh,
is the
Colin
leading
Ferguson.
guy.
Yeah,
Colin
yeah.
Lawrence is your detective.
That's who I was getting confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Why like putting Patrice and who's I forget what the sister's name
Whitney.
was. Whitney, whatever, putting them in there together who look alike. Why put two Collins in there too? I have no idea
They
who the
don't look alike
no,
at
they
all.
don't, but I don't know who I'm talking Colin. I don't know which Colin we're
Yeah.
talking about. So all right. So he's funny?
That's what I said. I was like, that's really interesting. I would have not picked that. So now I kind of want to go see maybe some of his earlier work.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That is good trivia.
Thanks. What do you got?
John Cassini, who we talked about last week, not only was he a producer of the series and Jewel's acting coach, but in this one, he's on screen as Jim Hopkins, the down and out, the dad who's trying to build the
Oh, he
thing
was
for him and his
good.
son. So that was Jewel's acting coach and one of the producers of the entire thing. He's probably like, dude, I need to get paid a little more for this. Give me some screen time. I don't
I
know, but
love it.
yeah, he was totally fine. So,
Yes.
he did that role quite well. He was a little suspect for a while, a couple of times actually.
Well, Hallmark and Chill, what do we recommend that's similar? So I actually just watched this Murder, She Wrote episode, season 10, episode 15. Shoot, I forgot to write. I think it's called 13th Level, 13th something.
By the way,
The
we got
description.
feedback, by the way, in your one last
Ooh,
week for being,
they said it's good.
yeah, they said it was a great one.
See? In New York, Jessica's publisher, Edward Graham, seems to be cracking up following the death of his wife, but was a fall from the top of the building, suicide or murder. So that just is the scene, because I literally am like scratching my brain. I'm like, what is like what we just watched? It was so boring. I'm like, what do I got? And then I'm like, you know what? I did just watch this one where her publisher does go to the top of a roof. And so that's what reminded me of the ending of this one. That's the only similarities between those two. I would say the Murder, She Wrote episode is much better. It is not my favorite, but it is much better choice to watch than this Fixer Upper movie, in my opinion. What do you got?
I was thinking about it, and we've already run out of all the ones that, since they're all so same, everything I've said all along are match up. So I thought about it, and I have to go with you. Murder She Wrote. the Cabot Cove and Lighthouse Cove and just the little community
For
and
sure, in general. No episode recommendation, just the whole
the
series.
series. Yeah, like
Love
the
it.
vibe. It's just that sort of
Yes.
like little coastal small town vibe of
Cabot Cove.
both shows. So that's I just went for the whole series. All
Love it.
286 or whatever of them. Just binge it next week.
I love it. See, I did watch some of that while we were sick. I would put on some Murder She Wrote. It's always my go-to. Well, kind of final thoughts in on this series. So my ranking for sure would be that second movie, which was called Concrete Evidence. Then my next favorite would be Framed for Murder, and then obviously Deadly Deed. That's my least favorite. And then if I look at this as a whole, I remember, and I did a post maybe just a couple years ago, and I had Fixer Upper in, I think, my top 5 mysteries. It is no longer in my top 5 mysteries. It is probably down to the bottom third. Like this, having rewatched it now, oof, I can't say I would recommend this. I would recommend that the Concrete Evidence. I enjoyed that movie, but the other two really have taken down this series as a whole for me, just based on some of the acting and just kind of the script. It felt just too basic. It felt very like there was one when she was trying to get her to not jump off the ledge at the end. I literally was like, "This is Jewel.
Shove her.
Cue card. You say this line. Now you tell her this. Now you tell her." I mean, it literally seemed like someone was pointing to what to say next, and she was just reading the lines that you think you would say.
So it seemed like a Candace Cameron Bure.
Well, I think she's a better actress personally than Jewel. So I guess we will find out. Spoiler alert for maybe a couple weeks. But yeah, for me, that it didn't land as a whole. And so this series, not what I remember it to be. So I'm also curious on that note, because we have had requests for Emma Fielding. I think we should do some review on that, because I actually remember not liking that as much. But now, having watched this, I'm like, you know what? There's better actors in that series. So I'm kind of curious to see, maybe I will like it better now than I did in 2018.
Our Tess Atkins, who we just talked to, was in that series as well. So it will be interesting if we do.
Did you watch those, or have you seen those?
I've seen them all, I think, once.
Okay.
And I don't remember particularly loving them.
Same.
So here's what I think. Because I was like you, and I thought this was like one of the most underrated mysteries and was better. I think the reason why we liked it so much was at the time, and when you look at what it's comparing to and the different mysteries that were available, is, as I said, it was just a very cozy. We listened to Dylan. They were in such a box of what they could do and what they couldn't do that there wasn't much variation. And now we just have so much variety, so many better mysteries, or just even different. Like I know, Nellie, you're not a fan of that, but it's completely different, right? So I think it's just hard when you go back and look at some of these and be like, oh, yeah, I just don't think I agree with you. They're not holding up. And maybe I gave it, stronger reviews because first of all, Jewel is Jewel. So that's like an instant point right there. I know I'll admit I'm not unbiased. So, but I don't know. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think they held up. If we were to do a ranking, I bet you, and putting them side by side, and I'm saying, okay, I've got to do a real universal one. It would be probably in that, like you said, I don't know where you put it, bottom third. Yeah. It wouldn't definitely be in top 10, top 15, whatever.
Mm-mm. So it was kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer reviewing this one to find that out, to be like, oh, it's not quite as good as we remember. So, oh well. Well, next week, we're not going to actually review a movie. We're going to do kind of a discussion, and we're going to do 5 things that maybe we would do differently at Hallmark right now. So what would we do?
I am assuming control of the network, and I am making changes. That is what's going on.
That's totally Eric. And I'm just like, hey, here's what I would maybe do different, that I'm seeing things that I maybe am not enjoying.
I'm staging a coup.
That's Eric. So our next one is also with an interview with Caitlin Lieb. Would you like to tell everyone who Caitlin is?
Sure, but actually, I just realized we're a week off. It's Kaylee Evans next week, and it's Caitlin Lieb the week after.
Well, there we go. Spoiler.
Yes,
Caitlin Lieb is Lindsay from Spencer Sisters, in case people are
yes,
wondering.
and she's in 2 weeks. But yeah, Kaylee Evans from
Sweet.
Mistletoe and Good Witch. Stephanie, oh my, she
Well,
is absolutely delightful.
This is a totally on air then. Should we review a Good Witch?
We did review a Good Witch.
But
back in
another one since
Halloween.
we have Kaylee on. Since we're
We
doing that
can.
for April. Like that might be kind of fun.
Okay. Why don't you throw out?
I'm
poll
looking up. Well, I'm gonna look up one right now and just kind of like scroll. You tell me when to stop, and then I'll put my finger on one.
Stop.
It is The Good Witch's Secrets of Grey House.
Ooh. By the way, I think I called her Kaylee earlier. It's Kylie Evans.
Now,
You should like this because this house, it's the scenery, and you're all about scenery. So
love me the settings. Now, also, I tried to find it on the Hallmark Plus app, and of course, the search function doesn't work half of the time. So I found this by clicking on the Catherine Bell collection, because when you went to The Good Witch, it just showed you the TV show. And so I found it under Catherine Bell when they have the different actors collection. Right. That's how I found it. So in case anyone's trying to find it, that's where I found it under. All right.
This is going to be a good one. I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay. Well, for sure until next time. See you later, Andrea.
Bye.
Bye.